Hello, everybody. Harry here to talk about the talented Mr. George Santos and the case of the missing $350,000. So, we all know the story, and it's just the drip, drip, drip. It's really not a drip, drip, drip. It's a waterfall of revelations about lies, things that don't add up. Uh, Immense charges done to anonymous who are for $199.99, which is, as you can probably guess, the threshold, 1 penny below which you have to report things, reveal people, etc. It is just, a complete debacle and a tissue of lies. And we have, those things. There's ever more of that coming out at every turn. So a report in the New York Times kind of goes through a chronology where he's amended his financial disclosure form. I should not laugh. 36 times, and in many instances he's taken things that were actually discussed or itemized and scraped them clean and made anonymous $199.99, anonymous $199.99. It's just perfectly cryptic. It's kind of a problem for the FEC because in the four corners of the report, you can't tell. There's got to be tons of violations there. No one's ever seen anything like this, but they don't have the same kind of investigative powers but somebody needs to bring in the Santos and the treasurer and get all the information under oath, and that day just has to be coming. In the meantime, though, we've got more sort of in whole different areas. So we do have this New York Times article that comes out this morning that says George Santos and the case of the missing $365,000. So the basic skinny there is when you go through everything, there is $365,390 in simply unexplained spending. It's just got no record of where it went and no receipts and no recipient. 12% of his total expenditures. You can compare other reports. The Times does. Sometimes you'll have at the margins a 1% that just, that basically goes into a black hole. But this is 12% for some $365,000. So that's even a big chunk and ripe for criminal attack or criminal investigation, apart from all his many, many other misfilings. And by the way, one thing that does come out also in this report, there are a few suckers or people who really think they could buy him, and maybe they can, whose names do come out. So we have the first, to me, indication of where some actual money came from certain vendors. But and so all of it is messy as ever, but I want to cite three new points. One is $365,000 that is just not around, and that has to be accounted for. Second, it turns out that the talented Mr. Santos has these champagne tastes, and to the extent things are itemized and just from public records, he was spending a lot of his campaign where, mind you, he had no primary challenger, but even before that, going far and wide, living high off the hog, having lavish fundraisers hither and yon, and staying in fine hotels and having fine restaurants. So a big part of his motivation seems to be he just likes living the good life, and here was a way to do it. In fact, there's one very important revision that may be the source of a criminal charge in which he has failed to state everything that's going on in a way that gives concrete suggestion that maybe, just maybe, he took some of these donations and pocketed them for personal use, that some of the fees unaccounted for, and that would be consistent with his living the good champagne life, and completely inconsistent with the law, both for the criminal law and the education law. So that's the sort of second, to me, revelation that that comes out in addition to the whole big mess. We got 365, we have revelations of William Half the Hog, and then finally, I told you there was identification of a few donors. Here's one, a guy named Andrew in Trader, who does seem to have spent a fair bit on the actual campaign. And he's a sort of weird, political and financial player. But there's this little sentence that caught my eye near the end of the New York Times report. Mr. and Trader says he has provided information about the donations to the Department of Justice. So to me, that's a kind of a thunderbolt that says department is looking really hard here. Recall, we already knew they had asked the Federal Elections Commission to stand down so they could look into criminal stuff. So it just seems to me that the talented Mr. Santos may well be, they don't build these overnight, but you can put these together kind of quickly, at least as a placeholder. You can have this is sort of a federal prosecutorial 101 move. You find the one crime you have the strongest, you bring the charge, it's a placeholder, and then you think in terms of superseding, etc., as you do more forensic accounting, which is what's called for here with all his completely opaque, encrypted financial charges. So that says to me that the talented Mr. Santos may well be, by, within a couple months, the indicted Mr. Santos. And I would expect that soon to follow on the heels of that would be the pleading guilty Mr. Santos and the former Congressman, Mr. Santos. We'll see. But things will be developing there, and we'll be with you to explain them. Hey, I wanted to mention, if you get a chance to like and subscribe these YouTubes, if you like them, it helps us out a lot. We've just been starting out, and we're really having great growth. So if you have the spirit to contribute to that, please do. But back to the talented Mr. Santos, lots more to be coming, and I'll be there to explain it. Until then, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.